So I was not wondering. I wanted to say I was wondering, but I'm not wondering what I am doing because, well, you know. But it has been a while since I posted something with stuff that I made or I am busy with instead of playing songs that usually they do give a lot of views, but in the end it's no use of it's not of any use for me. It's just fun to do, but yeah. Oh well, there's one thing I want to mention just because there was half a year ago or something I mentioned to someone, yeah, and well, the guy asked, how many subscribers do you think you have on the end of the year? And I thought, well, hopefully I think I can get the 1,000 before the end of the year or around January. And by the looks of it, it had some, I don't know, maybe some people posted it somewhere or something, I don't know, but it did go up quite a lot. But now, of course, it's calmed down again. And so, if you're not subscribed yet, so please do if you want to. Hit the bell button, blah blah blah, whatever. You don't have to do that. I mean, I never do it, and what I do, I just look up the channels I like and see if they got new videos, and then I'm gonna watch them. I don't need to be reminded to watch something, to be honest, but yeah, but if you're not subscribed, please do so if you want. It might help me out, I don't know yet. 1,000 subscribers is not that many, but it's also kind of a niche thing. I mean, who's doing this or is interested in this? Not many people, especially not like 14-year-olds that rule YouTube. I mean, the worst shit has a gazillion subscribers, so you know the drill. I liked terrible music back in the day when I was 14. Or probably everything I did or liked was terrible. Not everything, but most. Well, so yeah. I did post some stuff on Facebook on the Extreme DIY loudspeaker building thing group, but I didn't show it in YouTube. So what I did, let me get an example. Actually, two examples. This is what I just etched. So like 15 minutes ago. These are the frames that hold the membrane. This one is tape is applied because I'm gonna put this foil on here, but I'm gonna corrugate it like a ribbon. Now it has a downside, and the downside is that a normal planar loudspeaker, like a normal tension membrane, it is really thin, and so if you put the magnets 1 millimeter away, you get a maximum excursion of 1 millimeter. That's nice. With a ribbon, like I tried here, for instance, it's the same panel, but I just wanted to try a ribbon kind of variant. I did change something. Normally there is no aluminum here, and I added these aluminum traces here that don't do shit except to hold form better and hopefully get rid of some resonance. I could make it like this small, like this. That's nice, but at the same time I try to reach as low as possible. Might sound stupid, but I mean, it is a tweeter. But still, if it reaches lower, first of all, if the resonance is lower, you could maybe use a 6 dB octave filter, or which is nice, I think, but I only have one panel right now because I broke some cutters, because my mill doesn't like to cut metal. You could add like several, and then you can reach as low as the resonance is. So if the panel has a resonance of 500, for instance, or 600, I don't know, that's about it. You know, you can stack them if you want, but you will never reach lower than that. Although you might have a little bit more efficiency. So I like the idea to get a lower resonance, and of course it drops off because the panel cannot produce that much of air movement, you know. So, but if you would like, and if you would like make a line source out of it, it would reach, you know, lower than that, and it plays at a quite nice volume, I guess, and distortion goes down as well. So, because you use many panels, because these do pretty okay, but if you like really kick them to produce high volumes, of course they are gonna distort, but if you double up, it will be half the distortion. And I have only this. If you make a line source, well, you can imagine what happens. So that's really nice. So the aluminum trace here is there to, well, kind of keep shape better. That was the idea. And the aluminum foil that I etched right now has sort of in between. It's an in-between idea. So you got the coil the same as here, but and as well you got aluminum here to keep shape, but in this case I used it into the coil itself. So it is gonna move here, but there's only one trace actually. There are 3 in parallel, and I'm not sure if it's gonna work. I didn't try it yet, just etched it. So the idea is this: near the magnet, the magnetic field is really strong, a little bit too strong, so it's not very even. So what I did is 3 traces in parallel, and just made the first trace smaller than the second, and the second smaller than the third. So the further away you go from the magnet, the more it gets current, or at least is able to transfer current. The resistance is lower. So hopefully, yeah, that would kind of balance out. I once thought about this idea to make a complete, like a ribbon, normal ribbon. You can do this, like near the magnet you use a smaller trace, and the further you go to the middle you use a wider trace. But yeah, well, you all have to put them in parallel, so that's gonna be a problem, because you will end up with low resistance in the end. And in this case, the resistance is made up out of the normal coil, and then only the sides do this kind of thingy. Not sure if it works, but I think it here, to keep shape and to have low resonance and a little bit more surface area, are just these 2 aluminum traces that don't do anything. So I hope by let them doing at least a tiny bit, it will help, and especially in the lower frequencies, because I don't think they're gonna produce much high, because first of all they're wider, and secondly these are way louder. So yeah, so I made 2 of these. This is the normal, the bluish stuff. As you can see, the blue is actually the glue. Here I made one, it's completely transparent. Hello. It has the blue, but only where the traces are, as you can see. So the mylar, as well as you expect, is transparent. So it looks cool as well. unfortunately you won't see anything of it because there will be metal. But so now I'm gonna try these and see what happens. Efficiency is a little bit lower than a normal planar magnetic, and yeah, well, it's no surprise because this one is not completely flat, as you can see. No, hard to see, but it isn't. I mean, it is corrugated, so it is thicker than normal mylar only. So that means you have to move the magnets a little bit further away from the membrane to not have kind of a buzzing sound because it hits the magnets. And that will also decrease efficiency. But I kind of, for me right now, I'm fuck efficiency, honestly. I mean, if you have like 88 dB, I think that's more than enough for most loudspeakers. I mean, of course there are loudspeakers that are 90 dB or whatever, you know, kind of PA kind of stuff is like way higher, but this is not gonna be this kind of loudspeaker. I use it in a monitor loudspeaker that is 86 dB efficient, and if you apply baffle step, then you only have 83 dB left over to play with. So, you know, that's still like 5-6 dB left on these tweeters to play with. I think that's more than enough. So if you want to make a big tower, you'll add another loudspeaker in parallel. You will gain 6 dB. Well, then still you have 1 dB, 1.5 dB to play with in, well, sort of to balance it. Also, if you measure it outside, then you will notice that you actually have to put down the tweeter even more. But yeah, there's sort of, it's kind of hard because I am listening music in a room which has a lot of room gain. I can measure it outside and make a perfect flat response, for instance, but it will be bass heavy inside my room, so I am gonna change it because I'm not gonna listen to insanely boomy shit and no top end. So there's kind of a, I'm not sure what to do there. Probably it's gonna be something like in between, you know. See what it does outside, see what it does inside, and then choose something in between. But, well, if you just want to have nice sound, or sound that you like, then you might have to change it to, well, what you like, and then it doesn't sound good outside, or maybe in another room. Fuck this shit, I don't mind. Well, the room is a bitch. Yeah, so I am gonna make a ribbon out of these. As well, etching goes pretty well lately. I have a little bit more control about temperature of the etching bath. And as you can see, I only crossed one. So 9 of these are good. And only 1 failed. And that's actually not even the etching, if you, not even sure if you can see it, but yeah, there. I think it has more to do with cleaning the foil, and I probably just missed this spot, so the etch resist came off. But anyhow, 9 out of 10. That's well, more than I could bargain for, I think. So yeah, let me make one of these real fast and see what it does. So I cut one free. Let me see. So this is it. That's gotta be my tweeter. This is the frame. It's HPL as usual. 3mm thick. I really like this stuff. I mean, come on, it's only 3mm thick, so it's quite cool material. And I got this really nice kind of toy. I don't know if it's a toy, but you can sell it at hobby shops. And well, or as you would guess, it's made for making ribbons. Although, of course, not loudspeaker ribbons, but a ribbon is, well, a string, kind of. So that's why I get annoyed by a lot of companies that call their planar magnetic a ribbon. If it's like held down by the sides and the top and bottom, it's not a ribbon, at least not for me. So this is gonna be a ribbon. Let's see if we can corrugate this. And this is kind of annoying. It's not the perfect way, I guess, but I have to like fill it in. This is also the wrong way around for me. As square as I can get it. And then hopefully it will grab, and it does. And then we're gonna turn it. And then we're gonna stop it here. It's hardly visible, but that's where the connections are. So don't want to corrugate that. There you go. A ribbon. So I'm gonna remove the tape where the connections are gonna sit. You can see maybe that there is some extra tape there. And this is kind of a hard thing to do, lining this up, because there's no way of lining this up normally. Just by eye. Not ideal. So I have to think about a way of doing this. Not sure yet. It's not terrible, but could be better. So floppy. Oh, don't stick. Now I am gonna take the sides. Well, it's not perfect. I mean, I have to find a jig or something to do this. I mean, this is too much of kind of see where it goes. You can see it sticks out, the corrugation, of course. It's the same on the other side, so that's the why it's limited in Xmax. So now we're gonna put it on top of the corrugation. And what I'm gonna do is just push the tape, the excess tape that I had, into the foil. Hard to see, but it's there. It's here. So I am gonna, especially around this edge, so this is what we got. That's zoomed in quite well. I think it looks really cool. So these sides hardly receive any current, but they're mainly there to keep shape. But they receive a tiny bit of current, and they receive more current when you go outwards. So less current, medium, and most current. And the reason is because the magnetic field is here strong, medium, high, low. So yeah, not sure if it works, but if you don't try, you never know. As you can see, it doesn't fit on the spacer here. It's a bit too large, because I made this foil after I made all these spacers, and I like the spacers, so I might have to, I don't know, redesign it. So that's one memory. Then I got these metal pieces with all kinds of crap on it, because I only have one, so my cutters broke, and this 2 pieces of metal became 30 euros or something. They don't look like 30 euros, but this should be able to fit here. But first we're gonna add some connectors, and I bought some new stuff. I bought myself all kinds of nice connectors, and it's kind of weird. It's you really know, you have to know what you're looking for, because it's quite impossible to find stuff. Weird stuff. So I got 2. I bought the ones that I in the end want to use are these. These are brass, and they have 2 connectors, as you can see. So you can daisy chain them. So if you use more than one panel, you can just, you know, stick these connectors on. I'm using these at the moment just for tests. Bought a few of these as well. Well, more than this, of course, but so, and it's quite simple, because well, because I designed it this way. We just poke a hole here. I need some screws. You can see the blue is still on here. I only removed it from the membrane itself. I bended this a little bit to clear the metal frame, to be honest, because I designed the metal for the other connectors. And you're done. It's stuck on there quite well. Got a screw. As long as it doesn't contact any other traces, we're good to go. It's all stainless steel, so it doesn't. It's not magnetic. There are magnetic stainless steels, but this is not one of them. Okay. Then we should be able to drop this in here. These are the magnets. There's some felt. Sorry, there's some felt here, some felt here, some felt in between these magnets, and not in the middle. It's gonna sit like this. I didn't set the distance magnets to foil, since this was made for a planar and not corrugated foil, so I might hit the magnets still, so I might need to, well, sort of make another spacer, or maybe add some stuff, I don't know. That's actually the reason why I added this white stuff all over the frame instead of only on the magnets, which is usually the case, but I could use the extra space for this corrugation. So I need a blank now. Now it's only single-ended. Ow. That didn't hurt at all, but so we add a blank, and then we can add the other part. the last part actually. And this has some force, of course. Not that insane, I mean they're tiny magnets, but if you don't hold it well, it will flop off or it will be stuck. Doesn't have to be really tight. I mean, I probably have to loosen them because there's not enough space, but we'll see. So let's put it on the amp and see what it does. It's sitting there without any baffle, as you can see, so low end will not be great for sure. I don't know what the wattage is I put in there right now, but it's not. I just don't have a clue anyway. Let's not look at the SPL. I mean, I can quite easily hear if it is loud, yes or no. And probably you can as well. So let's measure it and see what it does. Oh, also it is crossed at this moment, just for measuring, at 200 Hertz, 18 dB octave filter, so way too low, but I want to know what's happening there, so. It's not gated, yes, but it's really close, and there is, oh, something's gonna change with gating, but not much, I noticed. The top end. So let me lower you. So that's actually the response. Yeah. So top end looks quite okay. But it's funny. Let me show you what happens if you just add a baffle, a tiny baffle. So let me raise you again. But one good thing, no insane distortion or whatever. Let's remove the mic here. I know it's dark and it looks like I'm zoomed in. I was. So I'll add some music, and when I'm playing music, I'm gonna put some baffle in there. Still cross to low. This is a phone, by the way, so okay. I'm gonna add a baffle of 2 CDs.
En we zijn verschillend, doet er niet toe. En je tekent ons grijs. Van de winter wordt het koud en als de sneeuw smelt, dan rij ik naar het zuiden. Ik heb hier iets.
And if you play something which has some more compression, for instance, like this, it's quite loud. I mean, it is doing much more than it should be doing. But it doesn't sound that bad either. So that's the cool thing. If you make like, or buy or whatever, if you have like 4 of these or 8 of these, it's gonna play. It plays it low enough so it is cool if you would have like several panels. It should be possible to play lower and lower. For instance, cross that 150. Of course, it loses output on this frequency, but not if you use more than one. Normally it's crossed like 6 times higher or something. A little less, 5 times higher. So normally it doesn't have a problem with this at all.
Find a glimpse of summer heat waves in your eyes. This is what you did to me. Now it's history I see. Here's my comeback on the road again. Things will happen while they can. I will wait.
This makes for a good headphone as well. I'll show you if I move you closer.